And I'm not being rude. I'm just saying there's no way you're going to know how to do everything. No way. I mean, if you're trying to explain how to update your laptop to Windows 8.1, you don't know how to do that. It's not important. Someone does, get them in there. You don't have to be the expert on everything. So they talked about using teams, and I think teams are a great strategy in certain situations. They're very expensive, they're time consuming, but they can be a huge culture change mechanism. If you look at what are the strategies I can use, teams is one of those strategies that I can highly consider using, and you're seeing it in this book. A Zapp team is more productive than a group of zapped individuals. I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. The more decisions a team can make, the more Zapp it has. So certainly teams that are functioning well are making good decisions. Give teams a say in who works on the team within limits. What am I not going to give them control over? Who leads the team? We talked about that. Okay? So what's their mission? Give them a time and place to meet. Maybe they need training. Maybe they need problem-solving training. Who knows? Okay? Don't expect the team to operate efficiently and effectively if they've received no training and no direction and no leadership. It's not magically going to happen. Okay? Almost every consulting gig I've ever had, I've ended up doing this very activity of leading the team and training someone to take over for me. Okay. All right, so I think we talked about that already, this whole slide. I think the bottom one we haven't talked about, to create an environment where Zapp can happen. Right, So there was an action plan, and that was to read the notebook. The beauty of this book, it has that notebook, which is essentially a training, summary points of what was been discussed in the story. Okay. Now, some conclusions is that when they say Zapp, what they're really talking about is empowerment and culture change. Okay, culture change can be the end result. The empowerment might be a strategy to get there. Okay, the empowerment is what box?
2.
No, it's not 2.
4.
Keep going. 6. It's box 6. So on slide 30, you're going to mark box 6 if you had your notebook open. Absolutely, see? Empowerment, getting people involved, involving people, that's what it means. It says improve and involve people, yes? Yes. Which is train them and get them involved in decision making, which is empowerment. But I didn't want to call it empowerment in 1997. I wanted to use a different word.
It hadn't been invented yet.
No, it had. This book was before my dissertation. But I didn't want to call it empowerment. I wanted to call it involve people.
Because it's Underdown's.
That's right. It's Underdown's culture change. It's not somebody else's. So, it's going to take time. Culture change takes time. Years. We learned that from the sausage article. We're learning it in this book. You've got opportunities for Zapp or SAP every day. What can you do to promote that environment? So, those are things to think about. So, some characteristics of Zapped people. Tasks and projects are personally important to them. Wow. You start to win the war if you got that. Now, if this tasks and projects are tied to their performance review, which I would hope they would be, now you've got two things working. I've got trying to get the culture change going, but I've got it tied to their paycheck. So now you got them. People run their own jobs, which means what?
Independence.
And you're not doing it. They're doing it. You can go on vacation. You can go to a conference. You can get promoted because someone else can slide up and take your spot. If there's no one to promote behind you, where are you going to go? Nowhere. We talked about that in the leadership presentation. It's to your advantage to train everyone and get them involved in decision making and build up your team. It's to your advantage. Do you want a phone call while you're on vacation? Absolutely not. Maybe you want to go to a place where they don't have phones. Yeah, buddy. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I want to go somewhere they don't have phones. Or children. For maybe a mom and dad vacation. They make decisions a lot on their own. Okay? The day ends when the day's jobs are complete in the sense of accomplishment that I spoke about earlier. Okay? So, some sample questions. Now, of course, what I'm trying to get you to do is recognize what's going on here. So, Joe was talking to Marty. You know, Marty, you're a very snappy dresser. I especially like how your socks always match your shirt and pants never clash. What's he trying to accomplish? So, again, I'm trying to draw this back to my 6 boxes. Okay. So how is this like the 6 boxes, and how is this going to help us in the overall scheme of things? And he's trying to maintain self-esteem, and this would be an improved communication and trust piece. And I've been doing this for the past hour, right? I've been trying to draw connections between the book and the 6 boxes for an hour. I'm just giving you one more example. Now, this one is a direct quote out of the book. Agreed? So, and it talks about, explain how the strategy would promote improved communication and trust. The dialogue will help create a relationship between the leader and the employee, which will help improve communication. It's going to be mildly successful because Joe did not say anything positive about his work. It was just about his appearance. I mean, it's a start. I mean, you know, if for some of you that, you know, you don't really know these employees, but I guarantee the United States, if you want to talk about American football, we'll strike up a conversation. More than likely. Okay? So if I sit down, there's a company lunch at the plant that I'm working with now, and I usually sit down at the company lunch with people I don't know. On purpose. We talked about that already. I think I mentioned that in class. I sit down with people I don't know on purpose. What can we talk about? Well, football. What's going on with the Houston Texans? Nothing. They're going to start their third-string quarterback on Sunday. However, it doesn't matter. You start up a conversation. There's begins some communication. And later on, when I need them to get involved in a team or do something for me, at least we have talked and have some understanding. Some discussion has happened before. Yes? Better than nothing. It's a start. Okay? Talk about the weather if you want to. Doesn't matter. Okay? So another one, Joe's established a Zapp team. Joe made sure everyone understood how each team missions fit with the overall mission of the department and beyond for the entire company. What's he trying to accomplish? He made sure each team had its own results area, measurements, and goals. And so those are just some examples. Okay, so that was a Zapp book. We didn't go over the little stories in the book. We didn't talk about his visit to Department Z. We talked about culture change and empowerment and the key lessons out of the book. Okay? We could probably talk a whole other week on the book. However, when you take the test, you better have read the book, know the book, love the book, and be able to draw connections between what we did in the book and the 6 boxes. Yes? Maybe between the Zapp book and the sausage article. We did that today too. We talked about those similarities. It's not just about the book. You're going to get questions straight up about the book, for sure. But from my perspective, ones that are more interesting is drawing connections between something else we've talked about. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that down the road you'll remember this little book and pick it up and get something out of it years from now. Okay. So I hope that it's a simple read, it's entertainment, it's a diversion from our normal, and I hope from that it had value. Be ready for it for test 2. I cannot emphasize that enough. It will be a chunk of the test, so be ready for that. All right.